Adam Levin just before him. Nathan Gorinis, Julian Ayuso, just ever so close in their final few strokes. That's the junior men's under 17 category. Karnik Donputi, Jake Davey to round that category out. And we'll give it up for Anthony Serino in the under 15. Amazing to see these young athletes, so much more ahead of them in terms of development to come, but great, takes such bravery to come out here and row this kind of a piece up on the big screen. We see Anthony Serino now in his final few strokes, the athletes congratulating each other. So much heart and excitement in these junior events. And we'll give it up for Jake Davey in the final few strokes of his race. Jake Davey under 17, Anthony Serino under 15 in the last 50 meters.
So we've got the first place finisher from that heat right here. Yamil Harris, nice job. How did that piece go? It looked like you got out to a good lead right from the start. Tell us about your piece.
Well, in the beginning, I was kind of confused on what I should hold, but after a while, I decided I should hold a certain split, and I went with it. There were some doubts, like I think most people here will know, the second 500 is like where your head is like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, but I pushed through it. I had my mom behind me, helping me, but overall, I think I did good.
Great job, and how was that for you? Was that like a personal best, or was that right in the range? What were you expecting today?
Like top 5, top 10, I don't know. I was confused. I was nervous.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Exactly that second 500. Am I in the right place? Did I do the wrong thing here? Looks like you held it pretty steady the rest of the way.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, congratulations.
All right, I'm going to try to do a group interview of everybody in the stands. Who had athletes out there that PR'd today?
Cut them off because they're doing interviews, but yeah.
Everybody? Everybody?
Queuing up some results for you. The under 15 junior men in first. Again, under 15. Matt Califano with an unofficial time of 7:42.1. In second, Forrester Clark, 7:44.7. And Adam Levin, 8:07.3 to take third. Entering the bullpen now, the junior men under 19 and the under 23s. So this should be quite the race with these two categories competing together. Yeah, if you have them, you can put up 17. I only read 15. Now is 19 and under 23. This is what I have. 2 o'clock?
45 now.
Am I? What did we just say? But in the last race, there were still under 15 minutes, right? Okay. Think. Okay, got it. Yeah. I understand where I made a mistake. I thought this was 2 pages of 130, but it's not. This is the next race. Thank you. So queuing up for the junior men under 17 and under 19, correction. That's the 1:45 p.m. race. So based on time submitted for the CRASHBs, this should be incredibly tight and very exciting racing. For both of us. Yeah. So his name is Isaiah Harrison. I'm doing a search and find. I'm like, where is this kid? Because it's all over their press release. Looks like maybe, but I'm like,
15 might be a.
So I'm in the same boat where I'm like, I've been announcing his name, but I don't see him.
15.
He's entered in the event rather than the U17. He should be in here.
Three grouped together there.
He's the U17 record holder, blah, 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 but I just don't see him. Harrison, yeah. Yep.
Is there a record holder?
Yeah, but he's not in. I don't see him.
Okay.
So I'm like, I don't know if he just. I've been announcing it, but like, I don't see his name. And that was as of yesterday. I put that out on the press. So. Less than 2 minutes to the start, just about a minute to go. Beautiful shot here of Sebastian Acco on erg 15. Matthew Marks on erg 14. Grant Guads from Wilson High School on erg 16.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start, the junior men under 17 and under 19 event. It is a fast and furious start. I would expect nothing less as they move through the first 50 meters. So hard to call leaders now, but we can see just some early leaders emerging. Sebastian Acco, certainly one of them. He was that erg 15 shot that we saw early on. Exciting stuff as he starts to make his mark. Talk to us about what you can see on the floor, Greg and Kevin.
Yeah, so it's U17 in the front row, U19 in the back row. Those first 5 and 10 strokes are pretty interesting. We saw one guy actually go under 120 splits for the first few strokes, but now they're sort of settling into that first 20 strokes, and then you'll be seeing them shift down onto their base. Looks like most of them have started to get into it right around that 30, 31, 32 range.
Greg, take a look at bow 15, still hovering around 130 splits there. Very interesting way to start off this piece, but taking a big lead early.
Now that is really out and to the right. 1,600 meters to go.
Sebastian Acco just taking a lead and truly opening it up every couple hundred meters at a time. He's at a nice long 30 strokes per minute, currently down at a 137, and he's first across through that 500 marker. That's in the juniors under 17 category, so quite a young athlete, truly making his mark in both the 17 and the under 19 category.
Race graphics are just great. You can really get an appreciation how close these guys are in the first 500 meters. Get into that middle 1,000, it starts to extend out a little bit. You start getting into that, how much speed can you get at what rating? So how much power can you generate and what's it costing you? That work to rest ratio, the higher the rating is, the less time you have to recover.
And folks, you want to take a look at that last column there far to the right. You know, a lot of these rowers, they go out pretty fast in the first few strokes. And as they settle into their pace, you'll see the number on the far right. That's the time for every 500 meters. So the people with the strongest pace here are going to have the lowest number. So you see bow 30 there, bow 14 with hitting a 138 average right now. That's a nice, strong split to hold for the middle of this piece. So watch for that rower to sort of gradually move their way through the field.
Bow 55 in the U19, Finn Berkhout doing a nice job. He's really in the zone, clicking it out like 5 or 6 splits under the next nearest athlete.
Nice shot of Sebastian Acco, Matthew Marks in the under 17 category, our 2 leaders. Acco currently able to hold off Marks, but they're starting to get a little bit closer. I'd say Marks maybe closing a meter or 2 here and there as they move into the second half. Both of them rowing it nice and long though out of 29, so they've got somewhere to go. But Marks right on Acco's tail. Sebastian Acco currently holding the lead.
Yeah, the 2K erg is really a learned skill. It's really that thing about how hard can you, if you figure your time limit for your VO2 max is somewhere out around 5-6 minutes, and your body's developing and you're learning how to tactically approach the race, where's that edge and how hard do you dare to push it in the first 1,000?
And now moving the same speed, Sebastian Acco, Matthew Marks. You can see the graphic up on the screen where that brown box is. It's highlighting the fastest pace at that time. So the fastest power, the fastest split. Currently, that is Marks. The question is, does he have enough to catch up to Acco? Currently starting to close that margin just a little bit, holding 31 strokes per minute, closing in on the last 500.
Okay, this is when you start to pick your dark horses. You start looking for that athlete that's got a relatively low rating and a relatively fast split, and you start looking for them to start eking their way up that leaderboard.
Yeah, and I'm sitting here with the leaders in the U17 group here at bows 14, 15, 16, 17. They're all really close, and you can see them all putting some really good long strokes in. As we come through 500, we're going to see really who went out too hard or who's kept something in the tank.
Matthew Marks currently leading as we move into the last 500. So such an aggressive, strong start from Sebastian Acco. He's paying for it a little bit now as he moves into the last 500. An incredible performance from both of these athletes, but Matthew Marks making that move at the 750 and not looking back.
Here we go, 400 meters to go. You've got an athlete in third in the U17 that's 8 clicks under the athlete in second. Start doing the math in your head, figure out, is there enough real estate left to work with?
And these athletes need all the support that they can get from the crowd as they move into the last 250 meters. The final stretch of this piece, it continues to be Matthew Marks in the under 17 category and Whitman Finn Burkhout in the under 19 category, leading his field quite handedly.
We'll see if the U17 leader here can take the overall event right now. We've got them neck and neck between the U17 and U19 leaders. We've got Matthew Marks here in bow 14, and it looks like Finn Burkhout, both really close together here at the end, 140 splits. Both of them trying to sprint to the line here. Let's see who finishes first.
Get some 136s popping up there. Big race going on between 15, 16, and 17.
Matthew Marks coming through the line.
Oh, that's really close, really close. Look at that 138.3 to 138.7 between the U17 and U19 winners for this heat. Good job, guys.
An incredible performance from all of these athletes. A nice shot of Matthew Marks, Sebastian Acco finishing first and second in the junior men's event, the under 17. Great sportsmanship, as we can see there.
So this is the first tier of the U17s. This is the second tier of the U19s. So all kids in the U17 that'll probably be in the first tier of U19 as they get older.
Marks and Acco, a nice fist bump there, handshake. Incredible racing between these two. From all of our athletes, those finishing up the race now, Burke Volley through the line, Josh Atkinson in his final few strokes, followed by Tate Walker, Drake Sproul's, Jackson Williams in the under 19 category, Joseph Cassidy in his final few strokes. The under 17 and under 19 category. Lots of collegiate coaches, I'm sure, with their eyes on these scores. Joseph Cassidy now moving through the line to round out the field. And a big round of applause for all of our athletes in the U17 and U19 junior men's category.
What do you think, Matt? You ready for a couple words? All right, I'll give you a sec. But nice job. Looks like you made a bit of a statement there, eking out those U19 guys, making a statement. Nice job. So can you tell me a little bit about where you're rowing and what you're doing this year?
I'm from New Hampshire. I row for Bedford Crew Club, Southern New Hampshire.
So you're rowing in 8s and 4s, or your scullarts as well?
Eights.
Okay. How was this for you? Was this a personal best?
Yeah, this is personal best by like 5 seconds.
Oh, fantastic. So this energy, this arena sort of help you hit that number?
Yeah, that helped a lot.
Good. You looked like you put a really steady piece in. What was your sort of plan going for this event?
I was going for sub 6:30, but I'll take a PR.
I'd say a 5-second PR is pretty solid. Nice job. Congrats.
And results up on the screen for the under 17 junior men. Matthew Marks in first, 6:33.2. Sebastian Acco in second, 6:39.9. In third, Grant Guan's 6:40.0. A job well done to all of these athletes. Entering the bullpen now, it's the junior men under 19 and the under 23 men. The next award ceremony over by the cage is at 3:15 and 4:30 p.m.
So this heat is the second tranche of the U19 men based on their submitted times, and then the back tranche of the U23s. And it looks like, just scrolling through all the lane assignments, that all 60 ergs are U19s. So like I said, this is the second tranche of U19 men. The race coming up after this will be the first tranche, where you'll start to see some athletes that are traveling from some distance to put on a show here. One of the things this race has consistently been since the early days is an opportunity for, because there have always been so many college athletes showing up and the college coaches are here, it's a chance for these U19 guys to make themselves known if they want to row in college. So there are a lot of eyes on this race, same way that Ellen Minsner was scouting some of the para-athletes. There are a lot of college freshman coaches and college varsity coaches in the crowd looking at these guys.
So awaiting the start of the 2 p.m. race, under 19 and under 23 for the men. Another race with just so many different clubs represented, which is fabulous to see. A strong showing of entries, keeping an eye in particular on erg 16, Nicholas Duncan from Farmington High School crew, registering with a time of 6:48. Should be super tight racing though. We have lots of athletes that registered with a 6:50 at or about, including Evan Morris, Sean Coper, Samuel Chung, Patrick Hurton, Tyler Dudley, Anthony Florence. And of course, the wonderful part is they'll all be seated next to each other in a row. So if they're able to, they can glance to their right or left. I think most folks are just focused on their own screen. But either way, we'll have a race underway in just over 2 minutes. And a nice shot here on the screen of Nicholas Duncan. That's erg 16. Just next to him, Patrick Hurton from BC High alumni. Tyler Dudley in the shot as well from St. John's High School.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start, the junior men under 19 and under 23 category. It's underway, so tightly packed as they come off the line in the first 50 meters. Moving through the first 100 meters, it's a good start for Mason Fairfield, currently at a 32. And as we start to see them shake out a little bit, Tim Lacey as well. But Greg, Kevin, talk to us about what you can see on the ground.
Yeah, so we're still in the first 15 to 20 strokes, and these guys will generally go 20, 25 strokes before they get out onto that base. And then you're kind of asking yourself the question, do I take it out to 30? Do I take it out to 35? So there might be a little bit of that going on. Up in the lead right now, bow number 9, he's still relatively high, hitting a sort of a 140 split, which is sort of around I guess that's around a 640 2K time. Now he's kind of bringing it under control a little bit more.
Tim Lacey from the gunnery currently leads, so off the line, settled into his base cadence. He's the first to cross past this 16:50 mark, and that's the junior men's under 19 category.
Yeah, and now you can also see about 7 or 8 spaces down in the right-hand screen, Finn Burkout's time. So that was the winner of the last heat. So you can see how these guys are doing relative to him. Because again, these U19s are mixed together in different flights, and again, they're all improving. So you can have somebody that gets seeded PR by a lot, and there you go.
Yeah, and again, if you're looking at the average splits on the far right, you can see that no one is putting in a split average, which is beating last heat's winners, Finn Burkout. So anything can happen here. These guys might have a different gear for the second half of the piece, but it looks like it's going to be pretty tight.
Yeah, another thing that's fun about these U19 races is the parents turn out. The grandstands right now look like the Elliott Bridge at the head of the Charles on Sunday. And there are a whole bunch of educated fans up in those grandstands that know what kind of splits their athletes should be at, and know exactly how they're doing, or if they see their favorite athlete really going for it.
And a nice push from Christian Gunsay, who we can see on the screen here at erg 20. A really nice press in the second quarter has now put him into a leading position, 29 strokes per minute, moving at a 140. Right on his tail, though, is Nathan Pocress.
Burkout is watching this race. He was sitting on erg 55 in the last heat, all by himself back here, and was obviously way out in front of that heat. So he was really kind of rowing a time trial, and so far his time trial time is standing up pretty well.
And a beautiful shot of Gunsay again on erg 20, holding that pace. Nathan Pocrest just not able to pass him. Only a couple of meters separating these two as they move into the second half.
So this is a systems question. I'm not sure if the athlete on erg 20 can tell how he does relative to the winner of the past heat. But the cocks on erg 20 should let the athlete know where they are relative to the last heat.
Now I'm over here with the current leader of this heat, Christian Gunsay, and he's putting in what looks to be very composed piece, very steady looking stroke right here. Keeping his eye on Finn Burkout from the last heat. We'll see what he's got in the last half of this race, but he's looking very composed right now.
Could not agree more, Kevin. He does look just ever so composed out there, holding on to that lead again by just a couple of meters. So Pocrest not able to get himself ahead just yet as they move into the final 700. Those are our two front runners. Then it's a little bit of space, a little bit of distance back to Henry Joyner, who's currently running third.
I'm here over here also very close second to Christian. We got Nathan Pocrest, Nate from West Cambridge Rowing and Riverside Boat Club, putting in also a very steady, strong looking piece. This should be a really fun race between bows 20 and 27 in the last 500. Here it comes. This is that last 500 now. They got to dig deep, and you guys got to dig deep, and let's hear it for these guys to bring it home.
Yeah, this is where you find out if people went out at the right pace or if they went out a little bit ahead of themselves. So you can expect to see that whole echelon changing in the last 500.
These guys are really... These guys are gritting their teeth now. This is it. This is the last few hundred meters. This is where it's really, really, really hurting. You got to dig in. You got to want it. And you got to start bringing that rating up. Just get that sprint going soon. So let's help them sprint.
So the top two are at 37, 38 strokes a minute. They're definitely, 41. They're definitely going for it. Joyner's still pretty composed. He's generating that split with a relatively low rating.
Look at them sprinting here now, 200 meters to go. Christian got himself up to about a 41 stroke rate. Nate Pocrest is matching that with a 41. Look at the splits, they're really close. 136s to the line here. Let's hear it for them.
Last 5 strokes. Sorry, I pulled a Coxon trick. I miscounted how many strokes were left. We're obviously in the last 50 meters. There you go. Wow. The top 20 athletes all in their last 20 strokes, last 10 strokes. Lots of moving around. Great racing.
Been going last few boats here in the last 50 meters. Let's hear it, guys.
Kalen Schubach through the line. Jason Casparini in his final few strokes. Such a thrilling race in the junior under 19 category. A big congratulations to all of our athletes. Christian Gunsay, a job well done. An incredible second 1,000 for that athlete. And congratulations, 634.8 unofficially.
Christian, how you doing, buddy?
Everything hurts at the moment, but
Tips of your hair kind of hurt.
yeah.
Looked like a really strong piece. You were really steady the whole way through. Was that your plan?
Yeah, it was. I had my coach to thank for keeping me in it, and Kobe too.
Nice job. It looks like you just got nipped by a tenth of a second by last heat's winner. Did you see his boat there on the screen, or are you just going your own race?
I was going my own race.
Well, good job. That was a really nice looking piece, and you held off Nate here, who's right here. He almost caught up to you at the end, but you both did a fantastic sprint. Good job.
Thank you very much.
And as one group walks off the field, so to speak, the next one comes on. Where? Where?
I'm standing here with Kevin, and we're just mulling over the screen. Aside from my inability to count strokes, that bit about not necessarily having the prior heat leader showing up on your thing is a kind of an important nuance.
Yeah, I mean, you push off each other, right? You could see Nate and Christian really going at it at the end, which drives you to the line. And if you didn't know that other boat was sitting there, tenth of a second ahead of you.
You're focusing on the guy that's right behind you. If you think you're winning, then you're basically managing your effort to stay up on that guy. It's kind of like, I remember one time we were watching, I forget if it was the sprints or the IRA, but Bob Jockstetter and Fred Schock were calling the race, and Bob called it even, and Fred said, no, one of them's in an MPOC, they've got a longer bow than the Resolute.
Yeah, I don't think there's an advantage like that on the ergs, though, right?
No, it doesn't work that way.
But it definitely works to have people close to your speed, pushing you the whole way through.
Hey, so one other thing. Obviously, this is the US Rowing National Indoor Championship. One thing for this group of athletes to be aware of is the push that US Rowing is making with its Olympic development program. And sorry, getting too close to the speaker. There are a series of camps that US Rowing is running around the country with top-level college coaching or college coaches, top-level high school coaches, and it's really focused on skill development and really, sophisticated rowing, from the U19s, from a U19 standpoint, and then it all kind of wraps up with a big competition. But it's a great way to acquire skill during the summer. Get in a lot of good piecework, make some friends that you're going to see over and over again the rest of your, through college and the rest of your life. But if you're not familiar with this Olympic development program, go take a look at it. They made a big push to increase the size of it last year, and it literally tripled in size. So it's obviously a good offering and a good way to spend your summer if you're looking at taking what you can do on the erg and turn it into boat speed.
Thank you, Daniel. And we move on then to the next flight of the junior men under 19 athletes. As we've mentioned all along today, this is a category with just so many entries, such depth. It's the biggest event here at the CRASHBs. So phenomenal to see just so many entries, which is why we have a second flight getting ready to start soon. So Isaiah Harrison, whom we've mentioned now several times, racing on erg number 15 this afternoon. Isaiah Harrison, the current under 17 world record holder. So as you'll notice, he's entered the U19 event rather than the under 17 event. So kudos to him rowing up a class, certainly a way to elevate your training game and get faster. And he's taken on that challenge today. So erg number 15.
All right, get your
So
popcorn.
a nice shot
Here
then
comes one of the big ones.
Isaiah Harrison on erg 15. Just next to him on erg 14, that's Savas Koutsouris representing Culver. Another one to watch in this event. Preparing for the start.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start for the junior men under 19 event. The
Isaiah
category
Harrison.
with the most depth here at the 2020 CRASHB Championships. These athletes so close as they move through the first 100 meters. Greg, Kevin, talk to us about what you're seeing on the ground.
Yeah, so Isaiah went out initially just a little bit under 120. Seems to be at a reasonable rating. So he's generating that 125, 126 split with a 30 SPM, which is good efficiency. You can see Finn Burkote over on the left-hand screen. So again, these athletes are all placed into their flights based on seated times. I mean, we're only 200 or 300 meters into it, but right now, number 40 from Charles Renville from Derry is clearly having an aggressive first 500. Now number 14 still up at a 37. It's going to move him up into second place on the next stroke or two.
Now, for those of you keeping track, a 130 split translates to about a 6-minute final time. So these guys keep up this kind of pace. It's gonna be pretty fast.
We got a new thing in there. We got Clark Dean's record up there. So right now Isaiah's running 5 meters ahead of Clark Dean's time.
Harrison holding the lead as we approach the 500-meter down. Starting to open up his margin, although Savas just next to him, that Savas Koutsouris, not letting him out of sight, a margin of about 14 meters or so. Savas holding a bit higher of a stroke rate. Isaiah Harrison at a nice long 30. Certainly still time in the race, but we are already getting close to the halfway point.
All right, here we come. We're coming into the middle of the race. Isaiah Harrison still knocking it out at a 30-stroke 129. You can see how this is like watching the Olympics in a swim pool where you can see the world record line. We can see it, but the athlete can't.
Got our two leaders here, Isaiah Harrison and Savas Koutsouris, both of them putting in a strong base pace here as we come through the last half of the race. That last 800 meters is going to go by pretty fast because these guys are moving.
And Harrison holding his lead, as we've been saying, no stranger to setting fast times, to setting world records. He's been erging a long time. He's an Idaho native. 6'5", and just crushing it now as he moves towards the last 500 meters. A shot here of erg number 12. That's Clinton Regan from Nashville.
Okay, we got 2 minutes left in this race, and erg 15 is still ahead of that record pace. He's doing this on his own. There's without a coach. So the crowd that's in front of him, let's cheer him on.
So it'll be really interesting to see what happens in the last 5, if either of these guys got another gear or if they pick that pace really carefully. It looks like Isaiah Harrison just dropped that split a little bit in that 500 meters to go. He's putting a bit of a push on here, trying to keep himself ahead of Savage.
Harrison in the last 500 meters. Savas Kusor is just behind him, but the margin opening up as Harrison really moves through the last 500 and through his sprint sequence.
Okay, so
He's
we're
been
clarifying
erging since
that
the
this
age
is
of
the
12.
U.S. record that he's chasing.
Isaiah looking really in control here, very composed. I think he's going to wind it up for his sprint here soon, but he's got a good lead now over Savage, who's in second and holding strong over Matt Carr. Really great race for the last few positions here. Matt, Clinton, Charles. Let's hear it for these guys. Looks like Isaiah's pulling away now.
There's some good stuff going on in the top 10 here. These are all respectable recruiting times. Seven meters. And he's at a 34.
Might have ourselves a record here if Isaiah can hold on.
Wow. All right, here they come. A little bit more spread out than the last race. Good fight going on for 5th and 6th.
An amazing support from the crowd as these athletes finish the final few strokes of their race. So many just finishing out, so we'll keep up the support for them. Alden Taylor, Felix Thompson, William Sproul, William Meade, Stephen McGinnis, Ethan Solinger, Adam Sarhan, Hugo Harrington. So many phenomenal athletes in this category, just such depth. Henry Griffin, Sean Christensen, Marshall Collis now in the final few strokes of his race. An amazing, amazing performance all around. Matthew Velote. And we'll keep the crowd going for this final stretch. The under 19 junior men's category. An amazing job to all of these athletes.
I'm over here at lane 15 with Isaiah Harrison's coach, who's also his mom. So how things go according to plan today?
Sure. I mean, you know, he's got the record up there, so went according to plan.
Now, did he know what was going on in the last few strokes?
Probably after I told him, you know, I kept looking at the monitor and telling him how far ahead he was and stuff like that. So
It's active coxing value add, right?
yes, sir.
So what's up for this summer as far as rowing goes?
He's got goals as far as going to Northwest National or Regionals, and then hopefully U19 Nationals, and then Worlds is his summer goals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Congratulations. And I'd say you earned a pretty good dinner.
Yeah, I think so too. Thank you.
And a job well done to all of the athletes in the junior men under 19 category. We see them now exiting the bullpen. And we'll recap results here in just a moment for you. What a performance.
112. Hey, Dean, I heard him. 112. All cameras are live. All cameras are live.
So we've got about 10 minutes to the next race. It's junior women, U15 and U17s. I think in the same way we were talking about ODP, the Olympic Development Program with the U19 crowd, again for the U15 and U17, USRowing has a national championship targeted at those age groups with a particular emphasis on small boats and sculling. So, you know, again, the idea is you learn how to move the wheel on an erg and then you learn how to move the boat. And then it's all good from there on. So U17, U15 athletes, if you want to really kind of move it along, think about small boats this summer and think about the national championships that are specifically for you.
Gearing up then in about 5 minutes, we'll see the junior women under 15 and the junior women under 17 category.
7, 8, 9 is one race. Those three are competing for medals.
But first, a quick word from our sponsor, Washington Potatoes. Look no further, the world's best potato comes from Washington State Potato Commission. While supporting an economically and environmentally sustainable industry, Washington Potatoes is the largest potato producer in the nation and a proud partner of the 2020 USRowing Indoor National Championships CRASHB Sprints. Visit Sarasota. Beyond the powder white sands, glowing sunsets, and warm Gulf waters lies a world of celebration, smiles, and stories. Delight in the arts, music, and film. Revel in a romantic gourmet dinner. Explore eclectic festivals. Have the family vacation of your dreams. Browse the Visit Sarasota site and discover the incredible world that exists in Sarasota County on Florida's Gulf Coast when you go beyond the beaches. Okay, let's do it. And results are up on the graphic for the under 19 junior men. A wonderful performance from Isaiah Harrison, finishing with a time of 5:53.2. In second, Savas Kusores with a 6:07.2, and in third, Mac Carr, 6:13.3. Cranberry marketing. Since last summer, the Cranberry Marketing Committee has teamed up with USRowing to provide their athletes with access to America's original superfruit. Not only do national team athletes receive tons of cranberries to fuel their training, but anyone can pick up unlimited free samples at USRowing-owned events across the country. So lots of great clubs represented in the junior women's U15 and U17 event. Hingham High School, St. Mark's School, Phillips Exeter, Westside Rowing Club, to name a few. Keeping a particular eye on ergs 21 and 22, that's Heather Schmidt from Niskayuna and Riley Katz from Port Rowing, posting 2 of the fastest times in this flight. Less than 2 minutes to the start.
Sit ready. Attention.
We have a start. It's the junior women under 15 and under 17 category. So lots of interested collegiate coaches, I'm sure. A quick start across the board, the red graphics indicating the under 17 category. And off to a particularly quick start, it's Heather Schmidt of Niskayuna in upstate New York. These athletes now moving through the first couple of 100 meters in their race. This is where, again, they're quick out of the gate, but they'll want to start thinking about that base cadence to settle into, bit of a race plan. That looks to be working quite well for Heather Schmidt. She was quick off the line, but is locked into a solid 146 at about 36 strokes per minute. So a little bit high. I expect we'll see her lengthen as we get towards the middle half. But Greg, talk to us about what you can see on the ground. Still pretty tightly packed in terms of our front runners here. Heather Schmidt didn't quite like that because as I say that, in fact, she starts to open up her margin. She has indeed gotten a little bit longer with the stroke rate, but she's keeping the speed in the 40s at about a 148, 149 right for her. That's currently working in her favor. A nice shot on the screen then of Ava Dargan out of Riverside Boat Club. That's erg number 20. And just next to her again, erg 21, Heather Schmidt. Then it's over to Sana Gupta of East Bay Rowing Club we see on erg number 8.
Remember back to our first junior men U17, he saw sort of a similar pattern with about 20 athletes stacked up within a meter or two of each other. This is a group of athletes that are sort of aware of what sort of splits they should be going out at, but they're all constantly getting better. So as you go down the list, you can see split times that are particularly good and faster and will be moving up this chart. This is a group where you could probably expect to see a good number of the field PRing.
Top three ergs here, 20, 21, and 22. They can see each other on the screen, I'm sure, but they can also see each other right next door. So this should be a nice race for this group right here in the 2021-22. All of them kind of sizing each other up, trying to keep that split around that 148 to 150 mark. Looking good, well-composed rowing here. We've got Ava Dargan from Riverside Boat Club, Heather Schmidt from Niskayuna Rowing, and Riley Katz from Port Rowing, just leading the field here for this part, coming into the last part of the first half.
Three leaders in this heat, 20, 21, and 22, are all right next to each other, so they can feel each other. Their coxswains can see what the other athletes are doing. Right now, they're all sort of splitting right around the same time per 500. Slight differences in, well, the 22 is up a bit on the rating, but Heather Schmidt in particular down just under a 30, banging in 149s.
Heather Schmidt on erg 21, a solid start for her. She's currently holding third place position though, as we can see on the screen, but moving fastest, if not one of the fastest. Katz right on her tail. So just ever so close between these first three athletes. It continues to be Riley Katz leading. In a close second, Heather Schmidt, and an even closer third. Ava Dargan in second and Heather Schmidt in third. So just very, very close as we move through the second half of this race.
This is a good race in these top three. They're responding to each other. They're holding each other off. They're seeing what's going on the monitor, and they're able to react to it. But then again, look at the next 20 athletes. Look how close those people all are to each other.
Riley Katz of Port Rowing continuing to hold that lead. She's up at 36 strokes per minute, 34 now, sub 150. Able to hold off, it seems, Ava Dargan currently running second. The real battle right now is for second and third between Dargan and Heather Schmidt. And a nice shot of Schmidt on erg 21. Ava Dargan holding on to that first place position, first across into the last 500.
Katz is doing a nice job of holding a consistent split. We talked about it a little bit earlier. You can generate the speed one of two ways. What you put on the oar, how many times you do it. And she's definitely working it from a spinning along, just kind of keeping the wheel popping along, where Dargan in second is clearly just working it and is working it through strength.
Riley Katz still holding on to the lead here in this piece, keeping that rating up high, clipping it along, but Heather Schmidt and Ava Dargan sitting right there, waiting, hoping to reel her in the last 250. All three rowers looking very strong here. We'll see who's got the sprint in them. You can see up and down the rows of the ergs here, a lot of people working hard. Everybody's got their own race to do here.
Yep.
Make sure they hear you in the crowd.
Minute to go. This is where you say, okay, it's 35, it's 40 strokes left to the finish, and you start counting tens, you start counting fives, you just figure out what to cue on, anything to keep the wheel moving.
Heather Schmidt looking really determined here to reel in Riley Katz. She's putting in a big sprint, trying to get that rating up. But Riley's responding with a 40 rating here to try and hold on to the lead.
And it's Katz, Schmidt, and Dargan to capture first, second, third. Samantha Staubach coming through the line as well to capture fourth. Just behind her, Lauren Bauer, then Emmy Leary, Charlotte Pukenheim, Anita Roche.
Some furious charging going on as these athletes get close to the finish line.
Our U15 leader here, Claire, in erg number 8, bring it into the last couple hundred meters with a good lead over the rest of the U15s. It's looking strong.
Look at some of the splits on the left-hand screen. You can see people that are figuring that they've got a little bit left in the tank.
And in their final few strokes crossing the line, Eunice Lee, Marisi Nye, Sophie Hendrick, and a job well done to Caroline Villa. Our under 15 athletes rounding out their race as well. That's Alexa Fox and Sana Gupta.
I'm here with Heather Schmidt and her coach. So this is when you get to do the coach.
Riley Katz. Thank you.
Sorry, I'm with Riley Katz. Obviously, counting strokes is my only confusion. So how'd the race go?
It hurt, but it felt really good.
You spun it along at a fairly high rating.
I went half slide the whole time.
How do you train her to bang it along in the high 30s?
How are you feeling on the day? If it feels heavy, keep it light. Yeah, I feel good for a lower.
First time at CRASHBs?
No, I was here last year.
And what were some of the takeaways you had last year that you applied to this race?
Last year, it was like the scariest day of my life, actually. But this year, I felt good coming into it.
What are the plans for this summer?
I'm not sure yet. Definitely rowing, but probably home. It's probably, yeah.
Juno's last
Thank you
name.
very much.
And we'll give it up for Alexa Fox coming through the line. A job well done. Under 15 athletes. An incredible feat to get out here and to complete that 2,000 meter piece. And we thought we smelled fire, but it was birthday candles. You can hear the team singing to Howie Schmuck, one of our board members, as he blows out the candle on his cake. Happy birthday, Howie. It's the good kind of fire. Yeah. I'm still laughing about the fire. We're like, what's on fire?
Oh, I
What's
know.
on
We're like,
Under 15 results are up on the screen for the race that we just saw conclude. That's Claire USRowing capturing first, 8:35.6, and Alexa Fox in second, 10:30.5, followed by Sana Gupta. The under 17 times, it was Riley Katz to capture the gold with an unofficial time of 7:08.9, Heather Schmidt in second, 7:13.1, then Ava Dargan, 7:18.2. So you won't want to miss these award ceremonies coming up. The next one is at 3:15, so in just about a half hour. And the final award ceremony is at 4:30 p.m. And a quick word from our sponsor, Gutsy. Get your fresh, healthy snacking on with one of USRowing's latest and greatest partners, Gutsy. Gutsy Organic is the ideal on-the-go snack for athletes as it provides clean energy, meaning there's no added sugar, just organic fruit, veggies, and oats, and is packed with prebiotic fiber. You can try one of these Gutsy packets over by the vendors. They're absolutely delicious, I can attest. So at 2:45, we'll see the junior women under 19 event. So another well-represented category with several different clubs: Andover, Hingham High School, Phillips Exeter, Lowell, Cedar Creek High School, Brooks School Crew, Duxbury, Brooks, Pioneer Valley, Orange County, just to name a few. So lots of great athletes in this race. I'm keeping a particular eye on ergs 15, 16, 17, right around there. That's Miranda Lesperance from Albany Rowing Club, Hayden Groves on erg 16 from Gordon, and Emily Warren from Phillips. Morgan Purse right next to her on erg 18, New Trier. Grace DeMartino from Oak Neck Rowing Academy, all submitting fast erg times to be here today, and quite close. So I think we can expect good racing from all of those ergs, all of those athletes. This race is? Okay. And we're temporarily postponed due to a medical emergency. Situation is probably a better word than emergency.
So if you say there's a medical situation, feel free to take some strokes.
Okay, thank you. So there's a medical situation that we're working through right now. For the athletes on the erg, certainly feel free to take some strokes and keep yourselves warm. And we'll share another update shortly.
I didn't know if that's normal for this time of the afternoon. I just don't want to know that. Jenny, we don't have 9 shots. 8 shots.
Preparing for the start.
But I don't think we ever had that issue with like worlds. Okay, Kristen, I'm going to start live with you.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start. This is the junior women under 19 category. Several exciting entries as they move through the first 50 meters. So hard to call early leaders as they are just so tightly packed here. But it certainly looks like a good start for Allison Williams. And as the graphic reshuffles here, we can start to see that Coco Vallone is our current leader at 30 strokes per minute in a 152. Emily Milton starting to press in, 200 meters down. Neve Perez, currently our leader, but just so slightly over Milton.
Yeah, we're into our base strokes now. You can't necessarily put too much weighting on the bow numbers in terms of seedings because, again, these athletes are developing pretty rapidly. But Perez and Milton and McAdam are all showing nice combinations of rating and speed, as is Turk.
And Neve Perez still leading as we move through the first 400 meters down, approaching the close of the first quarter. We can see the graphic up on the screen indicating just how much margin is between our top 3-4 leaders, and it's quite close. Evelyn McAdam making a bit of a move to push herself into a second place position. Emma Reynolds right on her tail. So as we can see in the first 500, a lot of shuffling going around as these athletes lengthen into their base cadence. Now in the middle 1,000 of the race, such a crucial part of the piece, the middle 1,000, and of course the third 500. Emma Reynolds leading for the first time.
We're solidly into that middle half of the race. Coxswains are getting their athletes to focus on their splits, but do it in as low a rating as possible, with as much breathing as possible, and staying as relaxed as possible.
And into this second 500, I think you heard one of our earlier winners talking about how you can start to question your choice of splits for that first 500. They're starting to find out as they near the 1,000-meter mark here whether they went out too hard or whether they've still got something in reserve, and whether they can keep this pace up through the next 500 meters. So this is a really important part of the race. They got to keep their heads on straight, get themselves set, and try to keep pushing through to that final 500. You can see the leaders here coming up with nice steady rhythms, steady ratings, with good splits, not too high, trying to keep a consistent rhythm and set themselves up for a good, strong finish.
Mid-third 500, Emma Reynolds continuing to hold on to that lead. Emma Reynolds from Tulsa Youth up here in Boston to race at the CRASHB's event, and putting a stake in the ground that she's looking to hold on to that first place position in this category. Holding that lead, Evelyn McAdams in second. Then it's back to Emily Milton, currently holding third. Those are our three leaders with a bit of a margin over then the rest of the field.
Okay, so now we've got some settling out. As you look from fourth place down to the bottom of the right-hand screen, recognize that every 10 meters is about one stroke. So if you're trying to catch that athlete in front of you, can you jam that many more strokes into the time you have left? Can you get the legs down a little bit faster? About 9:50 to go. 8:50 for the leader.
Looks like Emma Reynolds doing a good job keeping her splits down, keeping herself well ahead of the pack. But don't count out bow 21 here, erg number 21. Hanging in there in second place, Evelyn McAdam from Narragansett down in Rhode Island.
Emma Reynolds continuing to open up her lead, holding a 1:53 and not looking back as she moves towards the last 500 meters. Evelyn McAdams holding on to second place, Emily Milton holding on to third. So what that means is that our top three positions have stayed quite similar over the past several hundred meters. We'll see just how much Reynolds can open this up in the last 500. It looks like that's what she's out to do.
This is really one of the hardest parts of the race here. Before you get to that last 500, you're really burning, the legs are burning, and you have to keep that rating going. It's a really hard part of the race here. Everybody's battling their own thing, pushing, trying to get to that 500-meter mark so they can start to lift it up and start to charge for the finish line. So let's get some volume up here, guys, so we can push these guys to the last 500.
One of the things we've been talking about with this category is how every athlete is getting faster and faster as they're developing. Look at how many 2-minute splits there are. 400 meters left. People are starting to smell the finish line and they're saying, I can start to drop it. People are starting to challenge themselves. So this is where this group of athletes starts to PR.
Emma Reynolds moving into the final 250 meters in this under 19 event. Emma Reynolds representing Tulsa Youth with quite the margin coming into the last stretch. Behind her, Evelyn McAdam. And now Darcy Foreman holding third, putting herself in a position potentially to capture that third place position in this category. No doubt about it though, barring any disruptions, Emma Reynolds is on her way to finish first in this event.
We got a hard charging Darcy Foreman here trying to catch second place. Darcy out of Wayland Weston, the local rowing team here. See if she can catch up with Evelyn McAdam. Let's hear it.
Amazing support from the crowd as these athletes come through their last stretch. Emma Reynolds, of course, through the line to win this flight of the under 19, followed by Darcy Foreman, followed by Evelyn McAdam, then Darcy Foreman. Unbelievable support from the crowd. Let's hear it for these athletes now into the last 200 meters, all of them in this race. Such depth in the junior women's under 19 category. You can see complete exhaustion on the faces of those who have finished. Still those on the course, so we'll give it up for them in their final 10, 15 strokes. Jacqueline Lee coming through the line, Lauren Schultz, Eliza Doles, Savannah Mazzone, Marielle Kelson. Good work to all of the athletes in the junior women's under 19. That was the 2:45 p.m. flight. We'll see more junior women to come at 3 p.m. And just falling off the erg in exhaustion. Relieved, I'm sure, to be done. The next group walking into the bullpen.
Emma, congratulations. Nice row there. Looked like you were in command the whole way. How was the piece for you?
Good. It wasn't in PR because I'm sick, but it was decent.
Yeah, it's a tough season right now, right? But that's really good that you came down and put down that strong, solid piece. Pretty composed the whole way through, like did what you wanted to do?
Yeah, I was kind of freaked out before, but I kind of got in the groove, I guess.
Yeah, it's always surprising what you can do even if you're not feeling their best, right?
Yeah.
Good job. Congratulations.
Thank you.
My mind was stuck. All help. I'm feeling better now. Oh, good deal.
Moving into the bullpen for the 3 p.m. race, it's the next flight of the junior women under 19, along with the flyweight women. So these flyweights will have weighed in this morning. There are no age divisions in the flyweight event. And for the flyweight women, the maximum weight is 115 pounds. So many of these athletes might be coxswains. I shouldn't say many of them are. They could be coxswains, but they could be small athletes with lightweight rowing in their future.
I think this is the last heat of with the U19 women in it. The coxswains generally are coaches, in some cases a parent coach, in some cases their teammate or their coxswain. And many of the volunteers at CRASHB have also been volunteer coxswains. In some cases you'll have athletes show up that don't have anybody there to cox them, or somebody that would really prefer not to be coxing them. So one year, it must have been 10 years ago, there was a girl from a Western Mass high school sitting in one of the middle lanes right next to the German. And it got to be one of those races where we were 500 meters to go. She was 2 strokes per minute under the German, and she was 2 seconds per split faster than her. And I was coxing her, and I did the math, and I just said to her, just keep doing what you're doing. Don't change a thing. Just keep breathing. Stay relaxed. You're going to win. You're going to win. You're going to win. And she banged in a a 6:55. And that was Tessa Gobo, who of course went home from Rio last summer, a couple of summers ago, with a gold medal in her pocket. So there's some really fun things that can happen in this race, and that's what, as fans, what we're all looking to see.
Preparing for the start.
Sit ready. Attention.
And that signals the start of the junior women under 19 and the flyweight women. And it's a quick start across the board for all categories. Early leaders, Heidi Bendenkop, Eliza Sierra Serra, Alexandra Pigeon. That's in the junior women's under 19 event. Over to the flyweights, Catherine Davis currently leading just about 150 meters in.
Yep, so this is the seeded heat of U19s, and you can see how the first 10 or 15 athletes are doing relative to the heat winner from the last heat, Emma Reynolds. Remember, you know, sort of a magic line in terms of senior women is a 7-minute erg, which is sort of a 1:45 split. You know, good junior women, you know, 10, 20 seconds off of that. This is a fast bunch.
A nice push from Mia Levy puts her in a leading position in the junior women's under 19 category. And a nice shot on the screen of Mia Levy. That's erg number 16. Then over on erg 6 to Eliza Siracia.
So there are different approaches to splitting. Sort of the classic one is you go out the fast the first 20 and get on your base, and then you try to, you know, take it up at the end. Some people will try to negative split. That's harder. Some people go out and try to hang on. And people have won races all doing all of those things. But right now it looks like, you know, everybody's kind of grooving. The first 5 or 6 athletes are all grooving at that 7:20 kind of a 2K base pace.
Still got a clear reader here in erg number 16, but the next group you can see is really tight. 6, 15, 24, 14, 17, all hanging around 150 splits. It's going to be really interesting to see how they separate apart as we go into the last 1,000. Some good steady ratings here, 28 to 30. You can start to see a few boats picking up speed here, but Mia Levy out in 16 there, still holding a nice strong lead.
Mia Levy continuing to hold that lead then as we move through the third quarter of the race, second quarter of the race, and towards the 1,000-meter mark. Of course, Mia Levy, great experience on the international stage, so perhaps not surprising to see her doing well here at the CRASHBs. She was in the junior women's 8 representing Team USA just last year at the 2019 World Rowing Junior Championships in Tokyo, Japan. Her and her squad, her and her boat finished 4th there, so just off the medal stand, but certainly such an accomplishment to be in that shell, and fabulous to see her racing today.
Okay, and watch Livy's time as she comes through the 1,000. All right, right on a 7-minute split. So now we'll see what she does in the second half of her race.
You'll see some different strategies as these races go on. Some rowers really opt for a steady as she goes kind of pace, try to hit your stride, try to hold a split the whole way through. Some people will throw in some big pushes at the halfway mark, try to kind of accelerate through to the finish line. So let's see who's got kind of a different plan in this race. You'll see some of those people that are currently sitting a little further back. They're going to start to march their way up the field as they ramp up their efforts in the last 500.
Levy continuing to hold the lead as she comes through the 750 to go. Now up at 34 strokes per minute and sub 150 at a 148.
In the flyweight category, Bridget Bain is leading the field by a comfortable margin, rowing along at a 157 split, 34 strokes per minute. Right behind her are Rebecca Paul and Sierra Mackey, both going neck and neck. Ergs are relatively close to each other, so they probably have well, all three of them are right next to each other, so they all have a sense of what the other is doing.
You can see Emile Levy's rating coming up, trying to hold on to that lead. She's built herself a good lead, but it does look like Nina in 15 behind her is making a bit of a push here, starting to shrink the gap a little bit, down to 40 meters. But there might not be enough race course left for her to catch Mia. We'll see.
500 to go. It's Mia Levy to get there first, representing Phillips Academy. Again, coming out of a stellar performance at the 2019 World Rowing Junior Championships. Great to see her here at the CRASHBs. Moving through now with less than 400 to go and holding on to what would be a first place win.
Okay, starting to get some good movement back in that echelon. People are starting to smell the finish line, and you can see their split times starting to drop.
And a nice shot here. Erg 14, currently running fourth. That's Olivia Vavasauer from Saratoga in upstate New York.
Looks like Nina's really pouring it on, but Mia's just stepped it up, trying to hold her off. It's going to be close.
The crowd going wild in these final few strokes, ever so tight between second, third, and fourth. Mia Levy in a position to take first in these final couple of hundred strokes, but so close between third and fourth, which in this event will get you a medal. And Olivia Vavasauer slips into third.
Vavasauer may not be done. She may be going for silver.
Mia Levy through the line. Nina Wheeldryer in second, and Olivia Vavasauer to take third unofficially.
Lots of athletes in their final 10 strokes. The winner in the flyweight has about 5 strokes left to go, Bridget Bain.
And let's give it up for the rest of these athletes rounding out their race. It's Julia Kennedy coming through the line. Maggie Kerwin from the under 19 category. Several flyweights now making their way there as well. Sierra Mackey, Rebecca Paul, Eleanor Nyhoff, Maddie Schoenfeld. Cosette Yunkin in her final few strokes, followed by Catherine Davis. Sophia Scholund, Kelly Tan, Caitlin Ingram. A job well done to all of these athletes. Under 2019 women, flyweight women. Kelly Tan in her final stretch.
Let's cheer on Kelly here. Last 100 meters coming up. Let's cheer her on.
And we'll give it up for Kelly Tan in the final couple of strokes for the flyweight women. Congratulations to all of our athletes in these events.
You know, I'm going to have to rebuild it. It doesn't even recognize the screen here. Let me do that again. Which one you need?
And we see the under 19 and flyweight women exiting the bullpen with their coxswains. And of course, as one group leaves, another one enters. Moving into the last stretch of our program this afternoon at 3:15 p.m., it'll be the flyweight men.
Ready for some results?
And results are in from the flyweight women category we saw just race. It was Bridget Bain in first with an unofficial time of 7:47. Rebecca Paul in second, 8:19.1. And Sierra McKay in third with an 8:19.2. And for the under 19 junior women, congratulations to Mia Levy, who took first with a 7:09.0. In second for the silver, Nina Wheeldryer with a 7:15.4. Then Olivia Vavasauer with a time of 7:16.4. So we're just 3 minutes shy of our 3:15 medal awards ceremony. It's taking place over in the cage, so over in the corner of the building. So you can check out that medal ceremony. Our last one will be at 4:30 p.m. today. So fabulous to see lots of great entries in the flyweight men category that we'll see take off in about 2-3 minutes. As a reminder, these athletes will have weighed in this morning. For men, the flyweight category is a maximum of 140 pounds. So some of these athletes might be coxswains representing their teams, wanting to have a go at a 2K race on their own. But some of them might also be lightweight rowers that are still developing and want to get a race in at that light category and are able to race at an even lighter category than the sort of traditional lightweight.
So I've tracked down Mia Levy, winner of the U19 juniors and member of the US junior women's team 8. So how'd it go today?
Not exactly what I was planning, but I can set some goals for the future and work towards that, so pretty good overall.
How close were you to your PR today?
I was 3 seconds away from my PR. I was hoping for a little below, but I'm still happy with it.
Yeah, it looked like you were going for it.
Yeah, my first 1K was right on pace. I just need to work towards keeping that second 1K where it's supposed to be.
So one of the fun things about rowing in the junior 8 the summer before the Olympics is you get to be the test regatta. So you got to race on the Tokyo Olympic course. What was the experience like?
It was crazy. It was super cool. We got all the cool technology that the Olympians will be using this summer. Really cool experience.
You got to, and it was the whole Olympic officiating crew, and they ran the thing like it was the Olympics, right?
Yeah, there were, nice buildings for us to rest in, all kinds of stuff.
Well, congratulations again for today, and good luck this summer.
Thank you so much.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start. This is the flyweight men's category. And off to a clean start in the first 50, 100 meters or so. Quick start all around. Early leaders, it's looking like Stephen Norton is one of them. Just ahead of him, Stephen Grant. And we see the graphic sort of reshuffle here to show us our real leaders. Indeed, it's Stephen Grant, Driscoll just behind him, Flanagan, Gillette, starting to sort themselves out in the first 250. And moving through the 250 meters down, it continues to be Stephen Grant at about a 1:42, rowing along 31 strokes per minute. Tyler Gillette right on his tail, just about 1 meter behind him, as we can see now on this graphic. So again, these athletes will have weighed in this morning. For lightweight rowers, particularly flyweights, I'm sure, just so much strategy into even just getting that weigh-in right. Eating enough, not eating too little, drinking enough, all of that good stuff. So kudos to them. It takes a lot of preparation, especially for these younger athletes, to get to a point where they've made weight, they feel good, and they're ready to race.
A little bit of a spread in the field on this one. This flyweights, this is as a class and as a division, this is a group that you would expect to see spinning it a little bit more than crushing it as far as how they generate that boat speed. So ratings are a little bit higher as a group across the board. And they're really working on, moving the boat through their oxygen capacity rather than their size.
Down here in the front row, I see we've got a couple of rowers from the LA area, so we've got people coming from far and wide. We've got number 15 here from Row LA, and then over here, up in the lead here from the Los Angeles Rowing Club, Stephen Grant. So people making a trip to be here today and to throw down a good race piece. And our leader here in number 9, Stephen Grant, putting in a long stroke here, keeping that pace. Look at those splits, keeping them down there below 145.
Approaching 1,000-meter mark and the second half of this race. Stephen Grant just in such command of this race, currently down at about a 143. So he's getting the work done just by sheer power and a bit of stroke rate here and there. Starting to open up his margin, which means the real race is between second, third, and fourth, even fifth, I'd say. When we look up at the graphic, you can see actually it's switching spots every so often because that's how quickly these positions are changing. Currently holding second, but just barely. It continues to be Tyler Gillette. He'll have to keep an eye out, though, for Henrique Vieira Mata, who's just behind him. And, of course, as I say that, switches into second place with Gillette taking third.
Yeah, it's a tricky balance when you're racing in one of these races to go on how you feel versus what you see on the screen. I mean, ideally, you should just be able to gauge what you're doing and trying to pace. What can I put in before the finish line gets here? But they also tend to look at the screen. So you see a lot of people, they'll be focusing in on a split, and they're focusing in on probably like in this group, like 145s, 150s. But then they'll get to the point where they can smell the finish line and they'll start to ramp it up.
Stephen Grant holding on to the lead. A nice shot of him here. These athletes, of course, so lean, a lot of power, a lot of muscle, as we can see, and wonderful layback from him. That power, that effort really working for him. We see Stephen Grant really swinging into it, which I'm sure he does in the boat as well. Again, down at about a 1:43, holding on to the lead. We pan over now, erg number 13 and 14. That's Stephen Kress and Tyler Gillette. Gillette currently running third behind Vieira Mata.
It looks like Stephen Grant is really pushing it now. You see that splits drop down to 1:42. He started that sprint kind of early, really going for it here to try and hold off his LA buddy from Row LA over here and number 15, who's putting in a really strong performance to try and reel in Stephen Grant. Enrique is moving well, but keeping a very steady rhythm. We'll see if Stephen can hold him off here.
Plenty of fans shouting from them, shouting for them from the stands, which we can hear. So great support, which is everything that they need now moving into the last 500 meters. Stephen Grant holding the lead up at 37 strokes per minute. He's the first to walk into the last 250. So much swing and power we can see in his stroke with a great shot of him right now down at a 1:43. So he does hold the fastest split of the bunch right now with a solid lead over second.
Yeah, Stevens looks like he put in a really solid piece here. He's really timed it well. He's been cranking up the rating and the effort in the last few hundred meters. It looks like he's finishing strong here, holding off Enrique from Row LA, who's putting in a good effort as well. But I think Stevens got this if he can just keep pushing as he's doing here. Let's hear it for him coming in the last few hundred meters, guys.
Stephen Grant in his final few strokes to capture first in the flyweight men's category. And just such elation as he puts the handle down. A job well done to Stephen Grant. Just behind him, Vieira Mata, that's Henrique Vieira Mata. Stephen Kress in third, Tyler Gillette in fourth. And the graphic up there with times. Great support from the crowd. Again, fans, family, friends, cheering them on, which is exactly what we want to hear in the last 250. These guys have done so much work to get there. And the crowd taking them all the way through the line.
Yeah, let's bring them home, guys. Let's bring them home. This is a good group. They're working really hard here. Let's hear it.
And coming through the line, Daniel Rogers. And in his last few strokes, Aiden Babiaras. And a big round of applause. Job well done to these guys.
So I got the first finisher from this heat here, Stephen Grant from LARC. I'll just say, actually, I met my wife in Marina del Rey, and I rode at LARC a long time ago. So are you still there in Marina del Rey?
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you're rowing in the, what boats are you rowing in at LARC?
4s and 8s for the max.
Mother's Beach off the racks?
No. We still got no boathouse. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So you made the trip all the way out here to Boston for this race?
Yes. Just for the U.S. Championships.
Looks like you put in a really good piece. You timed it well. Looks like your effort was good. Did you just have everything go right to plan?
Yes. I just wanted to stay consistent.
And was that a personal best for you? How did that stack up?
Because I had to cut weight, it wasn't, but.
Yeah, I know how that feels too. Good job, really good piece. Congratulations.
And results for the flyweight men, it was Stephen Grant, as we saw Kevin just having a chat with him on the ground. Stephen Grant with a time of 6:49.1. Henrique Vieira Mata with a time of 6:55.6 to capture silver. Then with the bronze, Stephen Kress, 6:58.8 for the flyweight men. Took me my brain a second. I was like, right. Yeah. So just a quick note that there are ergs for sale. Concept 2 is the place to go. So the price is $825. The ergs have really only been used today, so one day for competition and some of them for warm-up ergs. So the sales of these ergs go to support the event. So if you're considering purchasing an erg in general, please think about purchasing it today at the CRASHBs. Gearing up then for the 3:30 p.m. race. That's the lightweight women and the lightweight women that are under 23. So all grouped together, all will race together. Representation from Upper Valley Rowing, Gordon, Hanover, William and Mary, University of New Hampshire, Wayland Weston, Middlesex, and Syosset Rowing Club. So just like the flyweight men, as I was mentioning, these lightweight women will of course have weighed in this morning as well. And again, that is an accomplishment in and of itself. You need to take care to get proper nutrition, proper water, and make weight. So always a relief to get through weigh-ins, to get to this part of the race and be able to focus on that itself. So gearing up for the start of the lightweight event. Just a quick note, we saw earlier the under 19 racing from the men, Isaiah Harrison. A note that he, as many of you I'm sure already know, broke Clark Dean's world record for under 19 by just under a second. It was 9/10 of a second with his time of a 5:53.2. So congratulations to Harrison and great to see these record-breaking events here at the CRASHBs. A shot of Kiara Twist on erg number 5 here, representing Riverside Boat Club with the red and white stripes. Preparing for the start. Under starters commands.
Sit ready. Attention.
And they are off, the lightweight women and the lightweight under 23 women. It's a quick start and a fair start. Sophia Lewis off to an especially quick start in the first 50 meters, our early leader in this lightweight category. That's the lightweight open women. Most of these women will be in the under 23 category in the lightweight, with a couple of open weight under 23s in here as well. Currently leading the entire pack, though, it is Sophia Lewis at about a 1:46 pace, 33 strokes per minute. That's in the open lightweight category. 200 meters down, things starting to space out a little bit, but not so much with the lightweight under 23s. So those are those red graphics that you see on the screen, just packed ever so tightly. There is always a leader, though, and currently that's Natasha Hurt of that under 23 category. Of course, as I say that, the graphics start to flip. Josie Broom, one of our leaders as well in that category. So it is Josie Broom just barely now over Higginbotham. That's Haley Higginbotham in the under 23 lightweight category. No doubt about it, though, Sophia Lewis in the open lightweight category is out and leading the pack 400 meters down.
Yeah, so these are college athletes, and when you look at how they approach their race strategy, and you see somebody that's rowing high in this group, it's because they know that they can spin it along. It's interesting to see the bows 15 and 18 kind of right on top of each other with slightly different approaches to power versus turnover.
And a nice shot of Sophia Lewis representing William and Mary, you can see on her unisuit. And now currently looking at Josie Broom, William and Mary as well. So wonderful to see a good representation from their lightweight program here today. Haley Higginbotham in the lightweight women under 23, holding the lead within her category.
So 2.5 minutes into the race, we're well past the transition point where the legs have started to burn, and you're just getting used to the discomfort and just dealing with it and focusing on your breathing and focusing on keeping the wheel moving.
So over here with the leader in the open lightweight category, Sophia Louise, putting in a really strong piece here, holding steady at that 34 strokes per minute and keeping her splits under 150. So that's going to get her under a 720, which is a pretty quick pace. You can see she's got a good long stroke going here. Next to her there, Kiara Twist from Riverside, rating very high at a 40, flipping it along, trying to hold off number 7 here, Aura Ramirez from Antares Remo at a 30. So very different stroke ratings between two of these two, but very close splits. So it'll be an interesting race to watch. Still
Sophia
holding
Lewis.
the lead in the U23s, and 18 is Haley Higginbotham.
Sophia Lewis now through the 1,000 up at 34 strokes per minute, about a 147 pace. Of course, Sophia Lewis certainly no stranger to the erg and not a stranger to these types of competitions. She took silver in the women's under 23 lightweight category at the 2018 World Rowing Indoor Championships. That was in Alexandria, Virginia. So she has not only some hardware, but from some hardware specifically for indoor rowing. Looking to get the hammer today, though, it seems. And 7:50 to go for Haley Higginbotham as she moves through, leading the under 23 pack. Not too far behind Sophia Lewis. Sophia Lewis holding court for the open weight lightweight women. with Higginbotham holding that first place position for the under 23s. A nice shot here of Sophia Lewis on erg number 6. And Lewis with 500 meters to go, up at 36 strokes per minute for the open weights. Higginbotham holding that 151 in that first place position for now for the under 23 lightweight women. As you can see on the screen, the times are just ever so close between first, second, and third, particularly in the race for second.
So sitting second in the U23s from William and Mary, and the leader of the open lightweight is also from Williams and Mary. So I think they're hoping they can come here with 2 wins out of this race here. Let's see if Josie can catch Haley there. It's very close, both of them matching stroke per stroke. It's a very close race between 18 and 15 here. And that 150 split is a big number for lightweight women. Getting under 720 is a good marker, shows that they're really fit. Looks like we got a couple rowers here who might be able to break 720. Let's cheer them on.
Higginbotham holding that first place position in the under 23 event. Her MIT teammates on the grandstand, I'm sure, cheering for her.
Watching Kathleen Love, who's put it on the roof in terms of a rating. She's current split is, well, you can see it's a 143 versus 151 on the athlete in front of her.
Looks like a big sprint here from Josie from William and Mary, trying to catch Haley Higginbotham. It's going to be close. She's down a 144 split right now with only 10 meters separating the two boats. Can Haley hold on?
Higginbotham through the line in the under 23 category to capture first unofficially, second Kathleen Love. What a push from Kathleen Love, especially in the last 200 meters. Third, Josie Broom. Josie Broom on erg 15, Kathleen Love on erg 16. Lauren Berry coming through the line and her final few strokes. Let's hear it for Anika Hansen, Hannah Burdick, Hadley Keefe, Michaela George, Katie Augustine in her final few strokes as well. Kayla Thompson and Rohini Ramesh to round out the lightweight women under 23 category. A nice press from Sophia Lewis. She got out early and held. She was able to hold on to that lead and capture the win for the lightweight women. Rohini Ramesh through the line, and a job well done to her as well. And we'll recap times here shortly for you.
Think you can handle it? Hey everybody, I've got Sophia Louise who just put down a really pretty quick time for lightweight women at 7:10. Is that a best for you?
Oh no, that was
more to get more you can.
Yeah, the hope was to go quite a bit faster, but it's been a hard winter training and weight cut was a little rough, but it was fun. It was really cool to come out here and race with everybody.
Yeah, really nice job. That's still a fast time. What are your plans for this year?
Say that again?
What are your plans for this year?
Keep rowing, keep getting faster. It's goal one.
And are you a senior, or where are you at?
Senior in college, 2 months left. Terrifying. Really looking forward to dad veils and acras and rowing in single. So yeah.
All right, great. Have a great spring. Nice job. Congrats.
And results quickly for the Senior Open Lightweight Women. Sophia Lewis, unofficially 7:10.3. Kiara Twist in second with a 7:41.9. Then Aura Ramirez with a 7:42.4. For the under 23 lightweight women, in first, Haley Higginbotham with a 7:17.9 to capture the gold and the hammer. For the silver, Kathleen Love, 7:19.7. And in third for the bronze, Josie Broom, 7:24.5. A nice sprint from Kathleen Love to put her in that silver winning position. Oh, for this, it's like to help break down stuff? Yeah. Okay, so it's not about the white shirt volunteers, it's more like, can you guys help out breaking stuff down? Yeah. Yep. And we have a plea for all of our lovely attendees at the CRASHBs this year, which is to request that if you have the time, you might consider helping break down the event. Just an hour or two would be fantastic. We would absolutely love your help and appreciate it. So we hope that you consider volunteering. Racing ends at 4:15. The last medal ceremony is at 4:30, so it would be just after that. More exciting racing to come at 3:45. It's the lightweight men open, the lightweight men under 23, and the women under 23. That's the first flight of the women under 23. Lots of fast times submitted with these CRASHB entries, particularly Nathaniel Worth on ERG 15 from the Brook School crew. Richard Soley, unaffiliated on ERG 14. Christopher Duan, rowing unaffiliated as well on ERG 13. Joshua Turk, Notre Dame on ERG 12. You want to keep an eye on these athletes for sure. On ERG number 4, that's Amel Yunus from Riverside Boat Club warming up. And a nice shot, a pan out of all of the athletes here in their final few warm-up strokes. Preparing for the start.
Sit ready. Attention.
We have a start. It's the lightweight men under 23 and the women under 23. Moving through the first 50 meters so quick out of the gate is Simon Luden, currently holding that first place position. He started off at a 44 or 45 strokes per minute. Now moving through the first 100 meters, Simon Luden continuing to hold that lead. That is in the lightweight men's category. For the lightweight men under 23, it's Joshua Turk, already settled into a long and solid 35, 36 strokes per minute. A quick start for Joshua Turk indeed. Again, he's in the under 23 category, but currently leading the field just barely. Then it's over to Alex Twist in the lightweight men open category. So these two just ever so close, both rowing around a 134, 135. A nice shot of Alex Twist representing Riverside Boat Club there on the screen.
Yeah, and Alex from Riverside, a very experienced rower, probably not as big as some of the heavyweights here, but a lot of miles under his belt, several national team performances. So he's somebody to watch here, see if he can, he's certainly going to know what he's doing here and put down a very intelligent piece. And that's a pretty good clip he's got going now. And don't also take a look at the bottom there. We've got a rogue junior men's 19, Nathaniel Worth. Looks like he's hanging in tight here with the U23s pretty well as also. That's on ERG 15.
Yeah, these stroke ratings are what you'd expect to see from light men, probably rowing with a little bit lighter drag factor. Turk in good command of this race. All the other athletes clicking it along at sort of a 630, 640 sort of a split.
And a nice shot here of ERGs 4, 5, and 6. That's Amel Yunus from Riverside, Alex Twist from Riverside, and Roland Zaigetti rowing unaffiliated on ERG 6. Quick look at the graphic up there, you'll get a sense of exactly where these athletes are. I'd say margins staying pretty consistent as we move through the body of this race. That means on the open lightweight side, it continues to be Alex Twist. A nice shot of him there on ERG number 5, leading up at about a 37 stroke per minute pace. Joshua Turk for the under 23, holding that 35 and 134 with a good bit of margin over the rest of the field.
In the women's U23, Madison Thomas and Gina Marie Savino within 5 meters of each other, both rating 29 to 30. Thomas getting a little bit more spin on the wheel. In the men's U23 and in the junior men's U19, Rosser and Worth both clipping along at about 32, 33 strokes a minute at about a 635, 640 pace.
Amel Yunus on ERG number 4 out of Riverside. I love the 3 Riverside teammates rowing just next to each other. That's ERG number 3, Simon Luden, then Amel Yunus and Alex Twist. We see 4 and 5 in the shot right now. Alex Twist holding on to that first place position. I'm sure he's happy to be approaching the 500 to go.
Top half dozen athletes in the light men and the light men U23 continuing to spin it along in the mid-30s.
And a nice shot of Joshua Turk. Again, he got a lead early. He's continued to hold it, and in fact, he continues to open it up as he crosses into the final 500 meters. So he's getting the work done through the drive, a nice long 32.
Minute and a half to go in this race.
here in erg 12. Josh Turk is doing a good job holding off the field into the last 400, trying to hold that pace, trying to hold his pace here. But he is working very hard. Looks like Alex Twist is holding that split, really pushing hard here, and he's got ML Eunice and Roland right behind him there, matching him split for split.
We're coming up to the part of the course.
Looks like Alex.
If it was on the water, it would be where the red buoys start, 250 meters to go. When you start seeing red buoys out of the sides of your eyes, you know you've got 25, 30 strokes left max.
Thomas Kunkler leading for the under 23 men, but so close to Alex Twist for the lightweight men open category. Kunkler just making such a move down at 133 and 39 strokes per minute.
Wow, listen to the crowd.
Look at this race here in the lightweight men's here. Emil Eunice really going for it here. Look at the sprint from these guys. This is really exciting. Let's go, guys. Look at Josh over here flying into the finish.
Such an incredible, incredible race from all of these athletes. Congratulations to Alex Twist, Riverside Boat Club for the Senior Open Lightweight Men.
And the women's U23, they're inside the 250-meter mark, 25, 30 strokes to go max. Madison Thomas continues to lead. She's elevated into the mid-30s, pulling down 153 splits.
Joshua Turk to capture first in the lightweight men under 23, falling off the erg in just sheer exhaustion in his Notre Dame unisuit.
Spacing to Savino and Pelletier looks like it should hold. Those three should be your medalists in the women's U23. And Thomas has taken it to a 49, 50, 51. The men's U23 entry, Rosser came in with 641.7. In the junior men's U19, Nathaniel Worth clocked 635.3.
And let's hear it for the under 23 women still on the course. Madison Gass coming through the line. Emily Baker, Jeanette Stewart, Katie Drury.
Let's hear it for LaSalle here. We got a whole group of them.
And the under 23 women rounding out the event. Brittany Fraser coming through the line. Caitlin Gargas with less than 100 meters to go. Sarah Kimmelman in her final stretch. Samantha Viga-Torres, Madigan Avery, Ariana Perez de Alderte. And the crowd supporting them in their final few strokes. Samantha Viga-Torres. A job well done to Viga-Torres. Madigan Avery in her final few strokes. And we'll give it up for Ariana Perez de Eladerte. We've had such an amazing crowd today, and we can hear them cheering on these athletes as they come through the line. Let's give it up for Ariana Perez de Eladerte in her final now 100 meters. And the last couple of strokes for Ariana Perez de Eladerte. An incredible crowd, lots of cheers. And we'll recap results shortly. But for now, we'll welcome the open women and the under 23 women to the bullpen. Up on the screen, the under 23 lightweight men results. Joshua Turk to capture the gold with a winning time of 6:19.5. It was Richard Soley in second with a 6:28.7. And in third for the bronze, it was Fabian Donzelli with a 6:28.9. And a look at the senior open lightweight men. It was Alex Twist out of Riverside Boat Club to capture the gold, 6:21.9. Amel Younes with the silver, 6:23.1. And Roland Zygeti with a 6:25.7 to earn the bronze. We'll get ready then for the 4 p.m. race. That's the open women and the under 23 women. So 2 remaining races of the day. You've been such a wonderful crowd. A big thank you to all of our spectators. We hope that you'll keep the volume high as we prepare for these final 2 races. A shot here of erg number 20, that's Stephanie Arlasher, rowing unaffiliated.
So the open secret in this division is unaffiliated means that you're rowing for an NCAA institution, and you're not allowed to have this qualify as an official college race. So everybody's just rowing for themselves. But everybody's here with friends, aren't they? The other thing about this race is high school seniors that are 19 years old that don't qualify for U19 are in the U23.
Less than a minute to go.
Just so you're aware, we're probably going to be delayed. The paramedics, the guy with the Brute Squad shirt, the paramedics are working on a kid from the last race right there.
Thank you. So potentially a couple minute delay here. This is the last race of the day of the women category. So again, open women, women under 23. So we've seen several under 23 women race today, which has been wonderful. This, of course, is a race for medals. So this is the quickest flight of the female under 23s. So they'll be racing for the coveted CRASHB hammer and medals for first, second, and third. Love the cheering from the grandstand. Good support out there. So lots of fast 2K times submitted with these women in the open category and the under 23 category. Particularly fast time, Gabriella Thomas from Vesper. That's a sub 7-minute time. She submitted a 6:58, so we'll keep an eye on Gabriella on erg number 10. She's seated right next to Kelsey Barlock, representing Riverside Boat Club. He submitted a 7:01 erg time. So some great racing, I'm sure we'll see between these two athletes. Both of those athletes within the open category. And on the under 23 side, Jenna Martin looking quite fast on erg number 26, representing Riverside Boat Club. Just next to her, Kelsey Williams rowing unaffiliated as well, ergs 25 and 26.
But not indoors, so this is all new, so we'll see how it goes. Oh, are these actually the cameras are actually on? Yep.
All right, Willie, here's your deal.
What?
Now it's going to come down, these dunes for the walk-in.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to start, I'll be over there. And as soon as the second race starts, do the left.
And as we get ready for the 4 p.m. race for the last time today, a quick word from our sponsor, Gentle Giant. Such friends to the rowing world. For more than 30 years, Gentle Giant has been known for providing the highest level of moving and storage services in the industry. Founded in 1980 by college rowers, the company has always prided itself on hiring athletes and providing them with the training to get the job done with skill and professionalism.
Dean, you're live. Dean,
Just a quick announcement. We found a single key on a keychain that looks like a little surfboard. We will be leaving it at the timing table if it's yours and you can describe the picture on the keychain, it will be yours to claim.
And a nice shot here of the bullpen as we prepare to race the 4 p.m. race, just a few minutes delayed. And once more, for those who have not yet heard it, the Concept D Model D ergs used today for both warm-up and racing are available to purchase at a discounted rate of $850. So if you're interested in purchasing an erg, please consider buying one today at the CRASHBs. You can connect with the folks at Concept 2 to learn more. And athletes, of course, can keep themselves warm as we wait for the start with some warm-up strokes. For those of you interested in shopping, there are some wonderful vendors just behind the broadcast station. If you haven't checked them out, including Power Rowing, Flava Naturals, Rubini Jewelers, Keller Core, Stimulant Oars, Northeast Rowing Center, and Row House.
Standing by a camera. You must be working hard. You need a snack. You can't even blame it on the uniform today. I'll tell you where you can put that. The girls around here too. We'll keep it for you. Right.
So once again, folks, this is the 4 p.m. race. We should be underway shortly. It's the open women and the women under 23 category. And it's the race for medals, the last women's race of the day. We'd like to take a quick moment to thank our time team, Regatta Systems, for all of their work today. And of course, Little Drone Friend for the production of the event. They've done just a wonderful job here producing everything from our live stream to our audio, our sound, visual, in partnership with USRowing. Did I say that right? Is that wrong? What?
Did you say Little Drone Friend?
Is that not the name of the company?
Oh no, it's USRowing.
What's that?
USRowing.
In partnership with USRowing?
No.
No, it's just only USRowing?
Yeah.
I'll say it again.
It's all good.
In partnership, or is it all supposed to be under the...
It's just USRowing.
Like white labeled under USRowing?
Yeah. It's just USRowing.
Willie didn't hear it.
No. Andy is dan de hele tijd op de brand daar.
Maar dit is niet professional.
Nee, dat is waar. Dit is Armstrong. Dus dit, ik denk niet dat je hier heel fijn op ziet.
Nee, ze doen het ook niet heel erg snel. Meestal leggen die toch iets onder en dat wil je dan vanuit iets anders geslacht.
Ja, precies.
Dan blijkt er helemaal niks aan de hand te zijn. Ja, je hebt weinig mogen.
Gaan we deze deur open?
Ja.
Of daar een dekentje? Veel dekentje.
Ja, je hebt toch gewoon een hard ding. Maar je draait dan weer bij. Anders doe je het helemaal.
Partnership?
Reading whatever you see on walls
No,
now
no.
or people's shirts.
I was like, what's the name of the company in partnership with USRowing? Is it right?
We hire these slums.
You know what? Hopefully no one picked up on it except for you.
No, it's absolutely fine.
Okay. Okay.
Just
But
for the
like
rest of us here, that the next time we will all put stickers like.
Oh,
That's right.
I didn't know. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta get stickers.
Yeah.
It's all about the sticker. No, without these guys,
White
like
label.
none of this happens.
Yeah, but it's white label, so good to know. I don't keep track of who's a partner and who's a white label partner. Okay, good to know. I almost asked. Almost every time I say anything, I ask.
The Surface one is back here. This one is better.
Are all of the results like online already?
Yeah,
They are. Yeah. Okay, perfect. I have to do a like summary of them later. Okay. Cool. And a big thank you to our paramedics, to our volunteers.
Ben je net klaar met de roeien? Even in je gezicht kussen. Ja, heerlijk. Nou, weet niet, hoe werkt dat op poot? Het is wel echt jammer. Zo.
Het is wel Achillespees.
Vandaag, hè? Dat was ook niet. Ja, klopt, ja. Ja, helaas.
Die chef naar achter begint precies.
Hey, we zijn net klaar.
Preparing for the start.
Ja, top.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start for the open women and the under 23 women. Incredible depth in this field, and they are off to a fast and furious start. The yellow graphics indicating the open women's event, and the red, the under 23s. Off the line, some early leaders, Shelby Fanning. As we see the graphic reset though, Gabriella Thomas currently leading the pack just barely over Samantha Kelly just behind her. Then Annalise Rutenberg, that's on the open women's side, so close for the under 23 events. Emery Caswell, Laura Honderreich, ever so close here in the first 200.
Yeah, so we saw the first 3 and 5 and 10 with some splits down in the high 130s. Now they're sort of settled in at that 147 to 150 pace. Trying to get efficient, trying to think about holding the base, trying to think about eking out as much as you can on the athletes next to you, but being in a position where you can handle that second half. Per the pre-race seating, Gabriella Thomas is doing well in the open women, rating 32 and about a 146 split. In the U23 women, Laura Honderich from UNH is rating in the 33-34 range and in the low 150s.
Gabriella Thomas of Vester Boat Club with an early lead and continuing to hold at a nice solid 33 strokes per minute, about a 146 or so as she moves through the 500 down. She's the first to get there, and for the under 23 category, Jenna Martin now leading the pack. And a nice shot currently of Kelsey Barolak on the screen, representing Riverside Boat Club. One of the fastest times submitted in this group. Gabriella Thomas of Vester Boat Club just right next to her, but a nice shot here, ergs 8 and 9. That's Samantha Kelly, Kelsey Barolak.
Yeah, and in line with her time, her seed time, just over 7 minutes. Gabriella Thomas is banging it along at a 7-minute clip, 1/3 of the way into the race.
Jenna Martin continuing to hold the field in the under 23 event. Sub 150 currently, holding a 148 as she approaches the 1,000-meter mark. Kelsey Barolak, who we can see on the screen now, holding second, just barely over Samantha Kelly. So between these front runners in the women's open event, it's a race for silver currently. Gabriella Thomas, if she's able to hold on to it, putting herself potentially in a position for that gold medal and hammer.
Yeah, and you see it in these leading rowers, and also in what we saw in some of the lightweight events, the need to rate something in the 33, 34, 35 range. And a couple of dynamics there. One is, do you do it by shortening up a little bit? And generally speaking, that's not good. The only other way you can do it is by having a slightly faster leg drive or a slightly faster recovery. But in any case, it requires a certain tolerance, because you're going to have less rest per stroke. You're going to be driving, and then you're going to have a shorter recovery, and the discomfort and the lactate levels. It's hard to row in the 30, 33, 34, 35 range.
Jenna Martin holding that 148 sub 150 speed at about 35 strokes per minute for the under 23 category. Jenna Martin, a Boston University lightweight, of course, BU certainly known for their lightweights under coach Malcolm Doldren. Currently a sophomore at Boston University. Malcolm possibly floating around here as her coach, but Jenna Martin
both athletes Thomas and Martin continuing to hold their splits constant, continuing to hold their ratings constant. Now getting into the point where there's about 2 minutes left to go.
We got a big cheering squad down here for Jen Martin and number 26, who's still holding that 20-meter lead over 24, Emily Winslow. They're really battling it out stroke for stroke here. It's going to be close in the U23 women here.
Both Vesper and the Riverside athletes are well coached. It'll be interesting to see what they're able to execute in these last 40 or 50 strokes.
So much support from the grandstand currently. Jenna Martin, as she moves through the last 500 meters, putting herself in a position to win the under 23 category. Gabriella Thomas from Vesper Boat Club in a position to win the open women's category.
And Thomas is into the reds, less than 25 strokes for her to go. Martin crosses the 250 to go.
And a great shot of Jenna Martin from Riverside Boat Club. Moving through the last 200 meters now, 36 strokes per minute.
Winslow in the U23s is negative splitting Martin, but will she have enough room to catch her?
So much support from the crowd.
Got a really close race here in the U23s. Emily Winslow is coming on strong, and Jenna's trying to hold her off.
Jenna Martin holding on to what could be a first place position. Emily Winslow right on her tail. So close between these athletes. We'll wait for the official time. What a race.
In the final stroke of the race, Emily Winslow just overtaking Jenna Martin.
Wow, look at this next 20 in the U23s. They're so close to each other.
And the open women coming through the line to round out their category, along with the under 23 women, Tinsley Copeland, Annabelle Law, Laura Honreich, Casey Cope, Haley Mahoney. A job well done to all of these athletes to conclude our women's events. Let's give it up for Barbara Conker in her last few strokes. Christine Tell-Williger, Jasmine Segara, and Haley Mahoney now coming through the line to round out the under 23s. Right with her, Molly Aslin. And a job well done to all of these athletes on ergs 17 and 18. Erg 17, we'll give it up for Christine Terwilger and Jasmine Segara just next to her on erg 18 in the final stretch. Less than 100 meters to go for these athletes. And a big round of applause as they come through the line. And congratulations, that was the open women and the under 23 women. We'll recap results shortly. Gearing up now for our last race of the day. It's the open men, the under 23 men, and the under 19 junior men. Results up on the screen for the Senior Open women. Unofficially, it was Gabriella Thomas with a time of 6:55.9 to capture the gold, and the CRASHB hammer in silver. In second, Kelsey Barolak with a time of 7:10.6. And in third for the bronze, Annalise Rutenberg with a time of 7:14.7. And for the under 23 women up on the screen, Emily Winslow, Jenna Martin, and Catherine Zaglin in first, second, third.
Oh, yeah, go ahead. Tear it down, Jim.
So for the open men and the under 23 men for the final race of the day, representation from Texas Rowing Center, Riverside Boat Club, Penn AC, Marist, Milwaukee, Army Rowing Association, Brooks High School, or Brooks School Crew rather, Albany Rowing Club, just to name a few, St. John's Prep, Coast Guard Academy. So the open men, the yellow graphics up on the screen, the red are the under 23. Some fast times submitted in this category, that's for sure, with the CRASHB registration. Christopher Goals on ERG 14 out of Texas Rowing Center, one to keep an eye on, as well as Nathan Whittaker from Riverside Boat Club, and Marcus Brown representing Penn AC. Those are ERGs 14, 15, and 16. Tad Bindus from Marist right with them on ERG 17 in terms of the margin between their time submitted for the CRASHBs. And a shot here on the screen of Bill Tomlinson representing Riverside Boat Club, ERG number 13. So just a quick reminder before this last event gets underway, we would love any volunteers as able to stick around and just help us break down this event. If you can spare an hour or two, we'd really appreciate it.
Sit ready. Attention.
And we have a start. It is the men's open category and the men's under 23 category. Fast and furious off the line in the first 50 meters, cruising through the first 100. Ever so tightly packed as we start this race. Evan Krebs, a great start from him. We'll see the graphic shift here so we can get a sense of who's leading. Marcus Brown for the open men's category, such a strong start from him. He's now crossing through just shy of 200 meters down.
Yeah, the Penn AC athlete Brown came up from Philadelphia. He clearly means business. He's attacked this first 200.
And an exciting first 250 meters. Marcus Brown continuing to hold, representing Penn AC. Again, he was an erg time that we wanted to watch. He submitted a sub-6 time with his CRASHB entry and making it known currently in that first 500-meter stretch that he is after a hammer. Continuing to open up the margin, but then keeping our eyes on second and third. That's between Nathan Whittaker from Riverside Boat Club and Bill Tomlinson from Riverside Boat Club as well. So interesting, of course, to see these teammates compete. Then it's over to the under 23 category, and no doubt about it, Justin Steiner is on the move.
Yeah, so in the U23 men, Justin Steiner from the Coast Guard Academy is in the lead, followed by Pindle and Kenny. Interestingly, we made the comment about the use of the unaffiliated status. Clearly, the branches of the service outrank the NCAA. We also see athletes with affiliating with their old high schools. Over in the senior men, 2 RBC athletes, Riverside athletes, in hot pursuit of very respectable 131, 132 splits. 1/3 of the way into this race. Remember, 10 meters is about 1 full stroke of distance.
Looks like Nathan Whittaker really keeping it close here to the leader, Marcus Brown. So this should be anybody's race as we come into the second 1,000.
Approaching the 1,000-meter mark, and margin staying pretty consistent, I'd say. Nothing switching too much right now, but you'll see that Marcus Brown, Nathan Whittaker rowing a very similar speed. In fact, right now, identical at that 131. So we'll see what Whittaker can get up to in the second half of this race. Marcus Brown, though, Penn AC, continuing to hold, crossing through the 1,000 now.
And we're through the 1,000 in roughly a 6-minute split. 2 leaders, both stroking 34. There was an old American single sculler named John Riley that said, "You never win anything rowing at a 30."
Justin Steiner in the U23 category continuing to hold his lead at a 1:33 split. He's got a steady margin over the rest of the field. After that, it's Matthew Pindell rowing unaffiliated. Then John Lynch holding third just barely.
A little over 2 minutes to go. 70 strokes for these lead athletes. How soon can they start their build?
A nice shot currently of Bill Tomlinson from Riverside Boat Club. Bill currently running third. Still in contention to push himself into a position for second or even first. These first 3 pretty tightly packed, though Marcus Brown, Penn AC, continues to hold.
Whittaker's right there. If it was a single, it would be 1 length.
Very tight racing coming into the last 500 meters to go. This is where the sprinting's going to start. We got a really close race between Marcus Brown and Nathan Whittaker. These guys are battling it out stroke for stroke here in 15 and 16. Look at this. Marcus edging away a little bit. Dropping up in the rate now, 129 splits. Can Nathan respond?
So much excitement moving now into the final 500 meters. Marcus Brown from Penn AC continuing to hold. He kicks it up to 37 strokes per minute.
And he's on a 5:15 with 2:50 to go. That's 45 seconds of time. He's on a 6 minutes pace.
Bill Tomlinson making a big push here at erg number 13. You can see his splits. He's starting to try and move on Nathan and Marcus. But Marcus is holding on now to a 15-meter lead. He's still got him.
And they'll need the support of the crowd in the final 250 meters for the last race of the day, the men open and men under 23. Marcus Brown holding the lead in the open category. Justin Steiner doing the same in the under 23. And Marcus Brown now through the line. Harry Quinton coming through the line in the open category. Gregory Iris. And a thrilling race for both the open and the under 23. Owen McLaughlin coming through the line as well. Michael Marouk in his final stretch, nearly less than 200 meters to go. Lots of supporters, as we can see in the grandstand, which is phenomenal to see from here. Harry Quinton and his final stroke now through. And less than 100 to go for Gregory Iris. And we'll give it up for Iris and Marouk now in their final stretch. Great support from the crowd, wonderful to see. Gregory Iris now through the line. In his final few strokes, Michael Marouk, a job well done to all of these athletes in the men's under 23 and open categories. A big round of applause. And thank you so much to all of our volunteers, our vendors, our athletes, parents, friends, family, and the like. We could not have done this without you. Again, we ask if you do have an hour or two to volunteer at the end of this event. We'd absolutely love that. But for the rest of you, we'll see you at the medal ceremony at 4:30. Again, thank you so much for another successful CRASHB's event in partnership with US Rowing.